It's an honor and pleasure to be here and celebrate with you this great step forwards for Bilingualism Matters. So I'm Noah Sobe. I work on the Future of Learning and Innovation team at UNESCO. And over the past 2 years, we've had the pleasure of working with Bilingualism Matters as one of the organizations that offered inputs and in fact helped to co-construct the recently released Futures of Education report from UNESCO. This is a once a generation visioning and foresight exercise that has just resulted in the publication of our Reimagining Our Futures Together, a new social contract for education. And basically, this report calls for three things, all of which I think are very closely related to the goals that Bilingualism Matters has put forwards. So these are to rethink the why, the what, and the how of learning. So starting with the how, there's some worrying trends in the world of education today. Think about the displacement of schooling into domestic spaces. Think about proposals to automate learning, also the rise of crass commercialization and profiteering. And all of these are exacerbating inequalities and undermining public education. And the call in this report is to support education as a public societal endeavor and strengthen it as a common good. And I think that's very aligned with what Antonella was just taking us through. The UNESCO report also calls for a massive updating of what we learn. Too often today, discrete subject knowledge is handed to students in educational institutions without connection to everyday lives, without connection to contemporary challenges. So instead, curricula and learning objectives need to focus on ecological, intercultural, and interdisciplinary learning. And what ties all these things together is a focus less on categories and more on connections. And I would submit, as the UNESCO report does, that bilingualism, in fact, plurilingualism, has a very supportive role to play in this regard. Finally, this new UNESCO report that Bilingualism Matters helped us to make calls for pressing reset on the question of why we learn. So in place of a narrow focus on education for national citizenship or to support development efforts, we're calling instead for education to build personal and collective capacities to transform. And here too, bilingualism, multilingualism are necessary to support students, to allow for full participation in society, and to strengthen global solidarity, in addition to all the things that Antonella just took us through. So again, I congratulate you on this important milestone for Bilingualism Matters, and I wish you every success in the years ahead.